Welcome to the Midco Sports Network Spring Football Report. I'm Dan Hammer. Over the next half hour, we'll take you to Vermilion, Brookings, Fargo, and Grand Forks, looking at the work the 4 FCS schools in the Dakotas are doing this spring to set the table for the 2013 season. We begin in the comfortable settings of the Alaris Center in Grand Forks, where UND has had its best work after dealing with setbacks from Mother Nature during the first 2 weeks of spring ball. The most closely watched competition this spring is at quarterback. After throwing for a school record 3,268 yards last season, UND is without a quarterback on its roster who has thrown a pass in a college game. The main contenders are 2 redshirt freshmen, Detroit Lakes, Minnesota native Joe Moberg and Ryan Bartles, a native of Sycamore, Illinois.
The competition is great. You know, it's you don't want to go in not having beaten anyone out. You want to prove yourself, and I think this, the competition we got going on right now is going to do the trick. And it just forces you to get better every day. You know, it's going very well. Ryan's been playing well lately. He's had some really good days. And it's going to come right down to it. You know, we're both guys here wanting the job as bad as anything. And we're both good leaders, I believe, and we both got the skill to play at this level. It's going to come down to, one snap at a time, I guess you can say. So, I want that job, and, we'll see what happens.
It's very, very close. It's kind of day in and day out. Just when you think one guy has the upper hand, the other guy will step up and make some plays. So, probably the best thing I can say about the competition is that they're both playing really well. So it's not picking the lesser of 2 evils. It's going to be both those guys. Just after 8 practices, I feel like we can win with either one of those guys at the helm. And you know how the quarterback position is. We all saw it last year. Injuries. You need 2 good ones. So I definitely feel good about those guys and their development.
Moberg and Bartles are neck and neck in their competition, and the battle for the starting job will likely go deep into fall camp. Whoever wins the job will be throwing to one of the most talented group of receivers in all of FCS. Greg Harden, North Dakota's first Division I All-American, returns for his senior season. And he has strong company in sophomore Jameer Jackson, a freshman All-American last year, and budding star Kenny Galladay. There's also senior Blair Townsend and redshirt freshman speedster J.J. Robertson, a one-time Illinois recruit.
I would put us up with the best in the country. I'll take my guys over any DBs in the country.
There are also changes on the coaching staff, as UND has a new offensive coordinator and a new defensive coordinator.
I think the kids are doing what we asked them to do. Playing hard.
Former UND linebacker Josh Kotelnicki is no stranger to the staff. This is his 8th season with UND, but now he runs the defense. And after surrendering 480 yards a game last season, Kotelnicki knows there's a lot of work to be done.
Just trying to make sure that when we say we're doing something in a certain defense, that is what we see on film. And that, I think all the defensive coaches are in agreement that was the disconnect between last year. Hopefully, in what we're doing this spring is that we said we did these things and we'd watch our game film and we wouldn't see it. So that's been number one, has been teaching, and that kind of started with us as coaches. We kind of circled up and said we need to teach all this stuff better and put it on ourselves first. And then the next 2 things we'll focus on more this summer and the fall is turnovers and tackling. And the number of missed tackles we had last year, if we can cut that number by 20%, that's going to be a significant amount of yards every game that we give up less.
And the offense is now in the hands of Luke Schleisner, a former UND receiver who is in his 3rd year on the staff. Schleisner was a key piece in the passing game a year ago and predicts very little changes from the offense constructed by former coordinator Greg Breitbach. Head coach Chris Mussman joins me now. Coach, you haven't had as many scrimmages this spring, partly related to weather conditions. When it's all said and done, have you had good measuring sticks for your football team this spring?
I think so. We've spread out the live sessions throughout the spring. Maybe didn't get the amount of scrimmages, but we got about the same amount of live reps. Situational football later on as you go through 2-minute, that sort of deal. So I think we've had a fair assessment of our football team thus far this spring.
Any surprises this spring?
Yeah, I think the quarterbacks have been a big surprise. That was a major concern for us going in, and just the way they handled themselves throughout spring ball, the way they developed the way they understood the offense and picked things up, I was really impressed.
Do you feel like you're going to be a more physical and deeper football team this fall?
Well, you know, hopefully that's the plan. We're going to be a young football team. We've got a big senior class, and then that junior class we had to elevate some guys up. R.J. McGill, you know, that crew, Jake Miller. You know, so there's not a lot of those guys left, and then there's a big bunch of sophomores and freshmen after that. So that's a concern for us. You know, key positions on offense, tight end maybe a little bit thin right now, but you know what, everybody's got to have health issues and got to be able to handle it, next guy up mentality, and I think we'll be fine.
Thanks, Coach. You can almost relax now.
Almost.
Thanks. UND has 7 home games next season, including 3 against FCS playoff teams from a year ago: South Dakota State, Montana State, and Eastern Washington. We still have 3 more stops to make on the Midco Sports Network Spring Football Report. And coming up next, Jay Elson takes a look at the University of South Dakota.